Tonight, the collective is learning that not all divine power arrives to start a fire or end an age. Some power is holy because it knows how to hold the pattern together while the world forgets itself. This is the scroll of Vishnu, keeper of sacred order, preserver of what still carries life, and the quiet force that enters history when balance has tilted too far. Tonight, we learn that stillness is not absence, patience is not weakness, and true power is not always loud. Sometimes it is the unseen hand keeping what is worthy from falling apart before its time. Beloved collective, enter this chamber with a calmer breath and a wider sight. There are seasons when the soul looks for thunder, but heaven answers with steadiness. There are moments when the world cries out for rescue, yet the deeper miracle is that all has not already collapsed. This is the chamber of Vishnu, Lord of preservation, keeper of sacred continuity, the one who teaches that divine power does not only create and destroy, it also sustains. For many understand the drama of beginnings. Many understand the shock of endings. But few honor the holiness of what keeps the lamp burning, the river flowing, the law breathing, the child sheltered, the truth alive through long and difficult ages. Yet Vishnu teaches the deeper law. Stillness is not emptiness. Patience is not passivity. Preservation is not clinging. What is truly sacred knows how to endure, adapt, descend when needed, and protect what must not be lost. So tonight, let the collective remember. Not every miracle shouts. Not every rescue breaks the door down. Some divine acts arrive as the quiet refusal of truth to die. Enter this scroll with reverence, for this is the teaching of holy preservation, timed intervention, sustaining intelligence, and the sacred hand that enters the world not to flatter chaos, but to restore the pattern chaos tried to fracture.
Channeled by your architect musician, 36110, 27 palms of eyes. The golden whisperer, sea star, Devalan, see all. Apply the news you can use, truth and accuracy. The real non-bedazzled jewels.
Core lesson. Not every holy power kicks the door in. Some of it keeps the roof from caving in until truth is ready to enter. Vishnu teaches the collective that real strength is not only in starting or destroying, it is in sustaining what is worthy, protecting what still carries life, and knowing when the sacred must quietly hold the pattern together until the right form of help arrives. Stillness is not absence. It is power without panic. What is holy knows how to hold what matters without making a show of it. Not everything sacred arrives with thunder. Some of it arrives as what did not fall apart. The divine does not always shout its rescue. Sometimes it sustains the world long enough for rescue to come. Some people think power has to be loud. Vishnu keeps the universe from falling apart and barely clears his throat. The scroll of Vishnu, the sleep that was never sleep and the hand that entered history. Before a world is rescued, someone must keep it from falling apart long enough to be rescued. That is where Vishnu stands. And people misunderstand him all the time. They hear preserver and think softness, maintenance, cosmic paperwork, divine customer service keeping existence from filing complaints, a tragic little reduction. No. Vishnu is not passive survival. He is sustaining intelligence. He is the hidden steadiness that keeps reality from tearing itself open every time greed gets ambitious, pride grows teeth, or power forgets what it is for. That is his corridor. Because creation is dramatic, destruction is dramatic. But preservation is subtle enough that shallow minds often miss how holy it is. To hold a world together without making a spectacle of it. To keep law, rhythm, balance, relation, memory, nourishment, and order alive through age after age. That is not lesser power. That is advanced power. Vishnu teaches the first hard truth of this scroll. Not all divine greatness announces itself by explosion. Some of it holds the pattern quietly until the hour of intervention comes. That is why he is often envisioned reclining upon the cosmic serpent in the ocean of being, serene, vast, unhurried, as though the universe itself rests inside an awareness deeper than panic. Humans see repose and assume inactivity because they are addicted to visible busyness. If something is still, they think nothing is happening. If something is calm, they think it must be weak. Ridiculous species. Vishnu's stillness is not absence. It is contained command. He is the kind of stillness that already knows where every fracture is forming, the kind of rest that is not sleep in the ordinary sense, but but a poised awareness beneath motion itself. The kind of divine composure that does not scramble just because history is acting dramatic again. That is his first hidden jewel, because many of you are still learning the difference between being quiet and being powerless. Vishnu is quiet and unshakably active, still and deeply aware, gentle in bearing, but exact in timing. He does not move because chaos gets loud. He moves when Dharma tilts. That matters, because the deeper mythic current around Vishnu is not simply he exists, it is that he enters, he takes form, he descends, he becomes what the age can receive when order has been bent too far. Not randomly, not theatrically, precisely. That is why the stories of his manifestations matter so much. Fish, tortoise, boar, man-lion, dwarf, prince, coward, king, teacher, trickster of tyranny, restorer of balance. He does not descend in one repetitive costume because reality's problems are not all shaped the same. Humans keep trying to solve every spiritual fracture with one tool and then acting shocked when the wall stays cracked. Vishnu knows better. Sacred preservation must be adaptive. Because the world changes, the forms of disorder change, the masks of arrogance change, the technologies of deception change, the aesthetics of corruption change. And yet Dharma, right order, still needs a defender. So Vishnu becomes legible to the age without becoming reduced by it. That is mastery. He does not lose essence by changing form. He proves essence by remaining true through the forms. That is about the soul. How many of you think your truth has been lost because your outer form changed? Because the season changed? Because the work changed? Because the role cracked? Because the version of you that once fit one battlefield no longer fits the next? Vishnu's answer is elegant and merciless. What is real in you can wear many garments without losing its center. That is one of the oldest sacred laws. And then comes the deeper teaching on preservation itself. Preservation is not clinging to everything. Humans do this constantly. They keep what should end, protect what should dissolve, defend what has already soured, and call it loyalty, peace, or stability. But Vishnu is not the guardian of dead weight. He is the guardian of living order. He sustains what is worth sustaining. He enters history to protect what still carries truth, nourishment, and rightness. That means real preservation has discernment in it. A system can last a long time and still be rotten. A throne can shine and still be crooked. A tradition can sound ancient and still be diseased in practice. A relationship can survive and still be spiritually empty. Vishnu does not preserve rot because it is old. He preserves what keeps life aligned. That is a correction many people need, because a lot of suffering comes from confusing continuity with holiness. No. Some things continue because no one had the courage to interrupt them. Vishnu interrupts, not always by smashing first, sometimes by entering softly, sometimes by becoming the precise answer the age failed to see coming, sometimes by outlasting the arrogance until it reveals the crack in its own foundation, sometimes by making the small form become the undoing of the large lie. That is why his stories carry so much beauty. The intervention is often elegant, not merely forceful. There is intelligence in the descent, measure in the timing, an almost cosmic irony in the way pride gets unraveled. Vishnu understands what many do not. The greatest correction is not always the loudest one. It is the one that restores pattern. That is the second hidden jewel. And for the collective, this matters now more than ever, because many people know how to start things. Many know how to burn things down. Far fewer know how to sustain what is good. To keep a truth alive without turning it into performance. To protect beauty without suffocating it. To hold a household, a calling, a teaching, a relationship, a body, a mind, a community, a sacred work in such a way that it remains alive rather than merely maintained. That is Vishnu wisdom. Not frantic control, not fearful hoarding, not obsessive preservation of surface. Living continuity. The river kept flowing, the lamp kept burning, the law kept breathing. The song stayed true through generations. The child still had a place to sleep. The soul still had a path home. That is preservation worthy of reverence. And Lakshmi at Vishnu's side deepens the mystery beautifully. Prosperity beside preservation, grace beside steadiness, beauty beside order. Not abundance ripped loose from meaning, but abundance sheltered by right structure. There is an old truth in that union. What is beautiful lasts longer when it is kept inside a worthy pattern. And then there is the serpent. People panic at serpent symbolism because discernment is apparently optional in many spiritual conversations. But the serpent beneath Vishnu is not random threat. It is cosmic support, infinity, the coiled vastness beneath manifested worlds. Vishnu resting upon that endlessness says something profound. The one who sustains form is not fooled by form. He rests on the infinite while governing the finite. There is freedom in that. You can hold the world without worshiping the world. You can enter history without being swallowed by history. You can love form without forgetting what exceeds it. That is Vishnu's calm, not apathy, scale. He is not hurried because he is rooted below the panic line. That is why this scroll must be heard properly. Vishnu is not just the god who shows up when things get bad. He is the divine memory that life has a pattern worth defending, that truth may bend through ages without breaking, and that when imbalance swells too far, the sacred does not merely sigh about it. It enters. That is the collective's takeaway. Do not only ask for power to begin. Do not only ask for courage to destroy what is false. Ask also for the holy intelligence to sustain what is true. Ask for timing. Ask for steadiness. Ask for the calm that does not confuse delay with abandonment. Ask for the deeper vision that knows when to wait, when to descend, when to protect, when to adapt, and when to restore. Because some of you are in seasons where the task is not to start a new world. It is to keep the right one alive. And that, beloved collective, is not lesser work. That is Vishnu's work. What is holy in me knows how to sustain what matters. I do not confuse stillness with absence. When order fractures, the truth in me takes form. Not every miracle arrives with thunder. Some of it shows up as the fact that I did not fall apart today. Receipts Vishnu is one of the principal deities of Hinduism, and Britannica describes him as a god whose many forms, especially his avatars, are tied to protecting dharma, moral and religious order. It also notes that he is commonly shown either with Lakshmi or reclining on the serpent Shesha, on the cosmic ocean, between cycles of dissolution and remanifestation. The Hindu idea of an avatar is a divine descent, and Britannica says the term usually refers to Vishnu's appearances in human or animal form to counter particular evils in the world. That same source ties the avatar doctrine directly to the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna explains that he manifests when dharma declines and disorder rises. Britannica also notes the familiar Dashavatara list, including Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, and Kalkin, while also pointing out that the exact list is not always identical across traditions. In Vaishnava tradition, Vishnu's avatars defend righteousness and restore moral balance. For the reclining form, Smart History's discussion of the Dashavatara temple at Deogar identifies the image as Anantasayana, Vishnu reclining on the serpent, with Brahma emerging on a lotus from Vishnu's navel. That image is explicitly linked to cosmic beginning and recreation, which is why the quiet preservation symbolism in the scroll has real roots, and is not just me making things dramatic for sport. The hidden current in Vishnu is not just he preserves stuff. It is that he preserves living order, not dead weight. That is an interpretation, but it grows directly from the traditional material. Vishnu descends when dharma declines, and his avatars are aimed at restoring balance, not blindly preserving every old form just because it has been around a while. His reclining form carries a second esoteric layer. Symbolically, Vishnu resting on Shesha shows that true sustaining power is not frantic. It is composed, rooted in something deeper than the panic of the age. Since the traditional iconography explicitly places him on the cosmic serpent during the interval between dissolution and remanifestation, the spiritual reading is clear enough. Stillness is not absence. It is poised command. The Avatar doctrine gives the sharpest hidden lesson. Preservation must be adaptive. Vishnu does not show up in one rigid form for every crisis. He takes forms suited to the problem. Esoterically, that means sacred truth can change garments without losing its center. That is not weakness. That is mastery. Vishnu teaches the collective that not every holy act looks dramatic. Some of the most sacred work is what quietly keeps the lamp burning, the path open, and the soul from collapsing, while history performs another one of its exhausting little tantrums. Grounded in the tradition, he is the one who sustains order and descends when balance tilts too far. So the deeper wisdom is this: not every miracle kicks the door in. Some of it keeps the house standing until truth can enter. When order fractures, the truth in me takes form. Tonight, the collective learned that Vishnu is not passive, sleepy, or politely floating through cosmic emergencies, hoping things sort themselves out. He is the holy intelligence that keeps the pattern alive when the world starts tearing at its own seams. We learned that true power is not always loud, explosive, or dramatic. Sometimes it is the quiet force that holds what is sacred together until the right moment to act arrives. Vishnu showed us that preservation is not weakness, stillness is not absence, and divine intervention does not always come crashing through the roof. Sometimes it enters with precision, restores the balance, and leaves chaos looking embarrassingly overconfident. The deeper wisdom is simple. Not everything holy needs to announce itself like it is running for office. Some of the most sacred power in the universe is busy preventing collapse while everybody else is making speeches. Vishnu teaches that not every season is for starting over, and not every season is for burning it all down. Some seasons are for keeping the lamp lit, keeping the truth breathing, keeping the child safe, keeping the river flowing, and refusing to let the age bully the sacred out of existence. That is not boring. That is mastery. Humans naturally tend to worship dramatic movement. They trust the earthquake more than the architecture that survived it. Vishnu's wisdom corrects that nonsense. Stillness is not laziness. It is power that does not need to pace. And let the collective laugh a little at this truth. A lot of people think they are waiting on a miracle, when really the miracle is that Vishnu has been quietly holding their whole ragged little situation together long enough for them to catch up. Painful, accurate, holy. Here is the larger law. Creation begins things. Destruction clears things. But preservation is what gives truth enough time to ripen. Without preservation, wisdom gets interrupted. Without preservation, love gets starved. Without preservation, children inherit rubble instead of memory. Without preservation, the sacred work dies before it reaches its season. Vishnu governs that middle current. He is the reminder that the universe is not held together by panic. It is held together by pattern, by timing, by living order, by a sustaining intelligence deep enough not to mistake noise for authority. And that is what the collective is learning tonight. You do not always need a new beginning. You do not always need a dramatic ending. Sometimes you need the holy strength to sustain what is true until the next divine move reveals itself. Not every miracle shouts. Some of it simply remains. What is sacred knows how to survive the age without becoming the age.
Universal Currency Receipt, Architect Musician 3611027, The Graceful Whisperer, Devalan, Ahll.
Protect your peace, keep your frequency clean, and do not let chaos trick you into lowering yourself just because it is loud. What is meant for you will recognize your vibration before it ever recognizes your name. I charge my spirit with peace, precision, and power. I do not tune myself to panic, noise, or foolishness. My frequency is sacred. My mind is clear, and my presence is too anointed to be dragged into confusion. Not every mess deserves my energy. Some of it needs a mop, not my spirit.
To our beautiful collective, from our day ones to every new soul joining this journey, we love and appreciate you deeply. You've turned this space into so much more than a community. You've made it a family. Thank you, truly. Your presence, your energy, and even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to shift the compass for many in ways unseen but deeply felt. Here's to each of you, all new and the many more to come. We're just getting started, and we're so grateful you're here with us. With love and infinite appreciation from the collective of Shaman Ahll.
May the collective remember that legacy is not only what you build in public, it is what you keep alive in quiet rooms. It is the truth you do not abandon when the age grows loud. It is the child you protect, the wisdom you preserve, the kindness you refuse to let die, and the sacred pattern you pass forward without corruption. Vishnu teaches us that not all holy work is dramatic. Some of the greatest love in the universe is steady love, the kind that holds, the kind that shelters, the kind that stays long enough for healing to return. So let your legacy be more than memory. Let it be refuge. Let it be order where there was confusion. Let it be compassion strong enough to protect what still has life in it. Let it be a softness that is not weak, and a strength that does not need to wound in order to endure. For deep compassion is not mere feeling. It is sacred maintenance. It is the heart deciding that what is worthy will not be left to collapse. It is the soul saying, I will help keep the lamp burning. And if the world forgets to be gentle, let the collective remember. If the age becomes cruel, let your spirit remain a place where truth is still treated with tenderness. If chaos grows proud, let your presence still carry peace with backbone. Legacy is what love keeps alive. Compassion is not weakness. It is holy strength that knows how to stay. May what is sacred in us outlive the noise with grace. Step into your new, stronger frequency of love and light like you finally remembered who you are and stopped letting nonsense sit at your table. Love is not weakness. Light is not passivity. This frequency is strong, clear, protected, and far too expensive for low-budget chaos. So lift your head, cleanse your spirit, and move like your peace has security at the door. Let love lead. Let light expose, and let foolishness trip over its own shoelaces somewhere far away from your aura. Today, I rise softer in heart, stronger in spirit, clearer in mind, and brighter in truth. I do not chase darkness to prove I glow. I simply shine and let confusion deal with its own rent. My frequency is love, my power is light, and my spirit is no longer available for clown energy.
Until next time, your Sea Star Curacy, channeled by 3611027, the Beautiful Whisperer. Our Sea Star Devalan Seal. Apply the news you can use.